I feel like a lot of people kind of are knowing of this right now. It's kind of been getting some traction on the internet, but I don't know, just in case not. Because I heard this thing on r slash just a minute ago. But this one was about, well, people are living longer now. It's like, I mean, there's some truth to it. Like worldwide, people are ending up living longer on average, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Advances in technology and medicine, access. More people have access to just better choices about their lives. So yeah, it is true. People are kind of living longer, but when you look at the statistics and stuff generally about these things, what people don't really get generally. Again, I think more people understand now, but child mortality has always been a thing. Like most people, most people that have ever existed have never made it past age 20, 24, I forget exactly which number, but most people haven't made it to full mental development adulthood. Like, think about all the people we hear about in history, like the people around them, even ancient, most people just never made it past to the point where their brain was relatively fully developed in whatever sense that means. I mean, the brain can always kind of develop and stuff, but like the major milestones, they didn't go past the last milestone of brain development. That's most people in existence, most humans. Anyway, so the whole mortality thing, there's basically two. I'm not saying this is the most research thing, but from going off the memory here of things I have read, there's generally speaking two basic cutoff points. You could argue and say that there's more or less, and that's actually fine, but basically speaking, there's two major cutoff points. Somewhere around age 10 and somewhere around age 20 to 24ish. I'll break it down in the middle, say 22. I'll say 23 actually. Somewhere around age age 10 or age 23, somewhere in that range. Those are two big cutoff points. Because first of all, there's just lots and lots of infant mortality. So again, someone might want to argue age 2 is being one of those numbers, and that's kind of fine. But for me, there's a lot of also children's diseases that existed since forever. So a lot of people just never made it to puberty. I don't know what that is, but it could be as much as a third of the whole humanity that ever existed. Never made it to puberty. I mean, just think about that. No one, like a lot of people never had gotten to the point where girls or guys or whoever didn't have pubes anymore. I mean, childhood is a wonderful time and all, and now that I look back on my life, I don't know. Like, if I had to pick a time I could die before now, I don't know. Maybe it's nice to just end things before all the shit happened. But anyway. So there's a lot of children mortality, a lot of, and then then people kind of go through the teenagerhood, and then a lot of people kind of make it through that to a large enough extent. But then there's the 20s, and the reason why the 20s kind of get in there is usually because of war, and other things too. There's just general adult stuff, and a lot of young adults end up getting the brunt of that as far as mortality goes. So, those are the two main cutoff points. Basically speaking, again, from stats that I vaguely remember, as long as you make it past those two cutoff points, you have a decent chance in any age, especially now, of making it to 60, 70, or 80, depending on other things. Especially if you make it to 30. Like, once you make it to 30, then you have a strong chance of making it to 60 and the other ages. Now, of course, there's always car accidents, murders, and things like that, but so for the most part, as long as you're living a relatively reasonable and reasonably risk life, then you should be able to make it to the age 60. Most people would. There's always accidents and other things coming up. And yeah, so people are living longer now, and so part of that data does have to just do with the fact that less young people are dying. And I guess that was for me. This is the first time a bus driver told me to get off the bus. But I'm the one. But anyway, so this lady said that I can